Have you ever wondered if the woman you're seeing might not be as exclusive as you think? Imagine this, you're investing your time, your emotions, and maybe even your future into her, but deep down something feels off. The little things she does, the way she disappears at certain times, or how she avoids giving you straight answers, it leaves you questioning. Could she be entertaining more than one partner at the same time? Before we dive into these signs, I want to tell you something important. This video isn't about creating paranoia or teaching you to distrust women. It's about awareness. Awareness gives you power, the power to protect your heart, your dignity, and your future. So if you truly want to transform your love life, make sure you watch this video all the way through, because every sign builds upon the last. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and turn on the notifications, because trust me, the knowledge you'll gain here could save you from years of heartbreak. Now let's begin this journey of uncovering the 7 signs she has multiple partners. Every man must know. Sign number 1, her availability feels like a puzzle. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in love with someone who always seemed just out of reach? You're excited to see her. Your heart beats faster when you think about the moments you'll share, but every time you try to plan something, she slips away with another excuse. Think about it. Has that ever happened to you? You text her on a Friday night, "Hey, let's grab dinner tonight. Just the 2 of us." And instead of feeling that spark of excitement from her, you get the dreaded reply, "Sorry, I already have plans." Now, one time doesn't mean anything. Everyone gets busy, right? But what happens when this becomes a pattern? When every weekend she seems occupied? When every attempt to spend quality time feels like you're trying to force your way into a life where you don't quite fit? Let me take you into a story you might relate to. Imagine you're sitting on your couch, phone in hand, waiting for her reply. You've been thinking about her all day, replaying your last date in your mind, the way she laughed, the way she looked at you, the way she made you feel like the only man in the world. And yet, tonight, once again, she's too busy. She tells you she has plans with friends, but something in your gut whispers friends or someone else. Has that thought ever haunted you? Be honest, because this is where the doubt starts creeping in. A woman who truly values you, no matter how hectic her life is, will carve out moments for you, even if it's just a quick coffee break, a phone call between meetings, or a late-night conversation before bed. When a woman is invested, she wants to see you. She wants to hear your voice. Love makes time, it doesn't avoid it. Now think about your own love life. Maybe there was a girl who once made you feel like her number one. In the beginning, she replied instantly. She made plans. She even rearranged her schedule just to see you. Remember how that made you feel? Like you mattered, like you were important, like you had finally found someone who saw you. And now compare that to today, when her availability feels like a puzzle you can't solve. Doesn't that contrast sting a little? Here's the harsh truth. When her calendar is always full, and you're rarely a part of it, it's not about how busy she is. It's about where her priorities lie. And priorities don't lie. They reveal everything. So ask yourself, are you the man she can't wait to see? Or are you the man she squeezes in when nothing else works out? Because deep down you already know the answer, and the moment you admit it, you'll see the truth clearer than ever before. Sign number 2, her phone is like a locked treasure chest. Let me ask you this, how many times have you been with her, enjoying a sweet, peaceful moment, and suddenly her phone buzzes? For a second, everything changes. The laughter fades, her expression shifts, and she grabs that phone like it holds the most precious secret in the world. Have you seen that happen? Now picture this. You're sitting beside her on the couch, maybe watching a movie, maybe just holding her hand. The world feels right. Then ding, a notification pops up. Instead of casually checking it, she tilts the screen away, her fingers moving fast. She might even excuse herself, walking into another room just to respond. And you sit there, wondering, who is she texting with such urgency? Why couldn't she just answer in front of you? Be honest with yourself. Has your heart ever dropped in that moment? Because deep down, you felt something wasn't right. Here's the thing. In a healthy relationship, phones are just phones. They're tools, not treasure chests. If you leave your phone on the table, you don't think twice about it. You don't care if she glances at the screen. But when she treats her phone like it's holding classified information, it creates an invisible wall between you and her. And let me remind you of something. Love thrives on openness, not secrecy. Think back to the early days of your relationship, when she would smile and show you memes, or let you see her phone without hesitation. Didn't that make you feel trusted? Didn't it make you believe that you were truly a part of her life? Now fast forward to today. If her behavior has changed, if she jumps at every notification, if she flips her phone face down on the table, if she gives you vague answers like just a friend, when you ask, it's not just about the phone. It's about the possibility that you're not the only man she's giving her attention to. I want you to pause and reflect. Has she ever taken a call in another room, lowering her voice while leaving you behind with nothing but your thoughts? Did you sit there replaying every second, asking yourself, who is she talking to that I'm not allowed to hear? Those questions hurt because they touch your deepest insecurities. And while sometimes the explanation could be innocent, when this secrecy becomes a pattern, it's often a sign that her world includes more than just you. Here's the truth, my friend. Trust isn't built on words alone, it's built on transparency. And if she guards her phone more closely than she guards her heart, then you need to ask yourself, is she truly committed to me? Or is she balancing more than one story in her life? And remember, your gut rarely lies. Sign number 3, emotional distance wrapped in sweet words. Let me ask you something straight from the heart. Have you ever been with someone who said all the right things, but deep down you felt something was missing? She tells you, I care about you, or you mean so much to me, yet somehow her actions don't match those words. Have you ever experienced that strange emptiness, where love is spoken but not truly felt? Think about it. You're sitting across from her at dinner. She's smiling, saying how lucky she is to have you. But the moment you try to talk about something deeper, the future, commitment, or even your personal struggles, she changes the subject. Maybe she laughs it off, maybe she gets distracted, maybe she even checks her phone. In that moment, you realize the words are sweet, but the connection is shallow. Now let me tell you something important. A woman who divides her emotions among multiple partners learns how to say just enough to keep each man hooked. She sprinkles affection like breadcrumbs, but never gives the whole loaf. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake those breadcrumbs for love. Has this ever happened to you? You hear her say, I miss you, but when you really needed her, she wasn't there. Or she says, you're my priority, but her actions scream otherwise. That's emotional distance dressed up in pretty words. I'll give you an example you might relate to. Imagine you've had a hard day. Work stressed you out, life feels heavy, and all you want is to pour your heart out to her. You call her expecting comfort, but she sounds distracted. She says, I'm here for you, but you can hear in her tone that her mind is elsewhere. She gives you surface-level responses, just enough to keep you from questioning her, but not enough to make you feel truly seen. Tell me, doesn't that kind of love feel empty? Because real love isn't about words, it's about presence. When someone truly loves you, you can feel it in the silence, in the way they listen, in the way they hold you without needing to say anything. But when a woman spreads her heart across multiple men, she can't give that depth. She can give charm, she can give compliments, but she can't give you her full self. So ask yourself, has she ever left you feeling like you're the only one putting real emotion into the relationship? Have you ever walked away from a conversation with her thinking, why do I feel more alone after talking to her than I did before? If the answer is yes, then you're not imagining things. That emptiness you feel, that subtle emotional gap, is often the clearest sign that her love isn't whole, it's divided. And you, my friend, deserve more than half a heart. Sign number 4, her stories don't always add up. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever caught someone in a small inconsistency, and though they brushed it off, your gut whispered, something isn't right here? That uneasy feeling you get when her words don't fully align with her actions, that's where truth often hides. Imagine this. Last week, she told you she was at her cousin's place on Friday night. You didn't question it, you trusted her. But a few days later, in casual conversation, she mentions a party she went to that same Friday. You pause, replaying her words in your head. Party? But didn't she say she was at her cousin's house? When you bring it up, she laughs it off, saying, oh, you must have misunderstood. But did you really misunderstand, or did she just slip up? Here's the thing. When someone is genuine, their stories flow naturally. They don't have to think twice about what they told you last week, because the truth is always consistent. But when someone is juggling multiple lives, multiple partners, multiple versions of the same story, cracks begin to show. Think about your own experiences for a moment. Has she ever told you she was somewhere, but later a detail slipped that didn't quite match? Maybe she said she was with friends, but then accidentally mentioned she was with a friend instead. Maybe she said she went home early, but her Instagram story showed her out late. Doesn't that contradiction burn in your chest, leaving you awake at night, replaying the conversation over and over? Let me take you deeper. Imagine sitting across from her at dinner, and she's telling you about her day. You're listening closely, admiring the way she talks, but something doesn't sit right. The timelines don't match, the details feel shaky. She says she was busy working all afternoon, but you remember texting her at that time and waiting hours for a reply. Your heart wants to believe her, but your mind is piecing together a different picture. This is where men often fall into denial, because love makes you want to ignore the inconsistencies. You tell yourself, and I must be overthinking. But deep down, you know, love doesn't require cover stories. Here's a truth you need to hold on to. Lies are like tangled strings. The more she pulls, the more knots she creates. And if you pay close attention, you'll see those knots forming in her words. So ask yourself honestly, how many times have her stories not added up? How many times have you felt confused, wondering if she really was where she said she was? And how many times did you silence your own doubts just to keep the peace? Because the harsh reality is this: when her stories don't match, her heart might not match her words either. And that, my friend, could be the clearest sign that you're not the only one in her world. Sign number 5, intimacy feels inconsistent. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a relationship where one week she can't get enough of you, and the next week it feels like you're strangers? That hot and cold rhythm, that roller coaster of closeness and distance, it can leave you confused, questioning yourself and even doubting your worth. Think back to a time when she surprised you with affection. Maybe she held your hand a little tighter, kissed you a little longer, or looked into your eyes as if you were the only man in the world. In those moments, your heart felt full. You thought to yourself, this is it. She's mine. She truly loves me. But then, just as quickly as the fire burned bright, it went cold. Suddenly, she's distant, distracted, too tired, or not in the mood, and you're left lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what changed. Did I do something wrong? Be honest, have you felt that shift before? That unsettling feeling where her body is present but her heart feels far away? Here's the truth. In healthy, committed relationships, intimacy has its natural ups and downs, of course it does. Life gets stressful, moods fluctuate. But the difference is this: when she's truly invested in you, even the quiet seasons feel safe, consistent, and secure. There's no sudden disappearance of affection, no unexplained distance. But when a woman is entertaining multiple partners, intimacy often feels like a seesaw. Why? Because her attention is divided. When she's with you, she's present, but only until she's giving that same energy to someone else. That's why you feel the inconsistency. It's not you, it's the divided connection. Let me share an image you might relate to. Imagine one night she's curled up beside you, whispering sweet things in your ear, making you feel like her entire world. And then the very next week, when you reach for her hand, she pulls away. You ask what's wrong and she says nothing, I'm just tired. You want to believe her, but deep inside, you feel the sting of doubt. And here's the painful part, you start blaming yourself. You wonder if you're not attractive enough, not good enough, not exciting enough. But brother, let me tell you, it's not always about you. Sometimes the inconsistency has nothing to do with your worth, and everything to do with where her loyalty lies. So I want you to reflect. Has her affection felt like a flickering light, bright one day, dim the next? Have you ever felt like you were holding on to the memory of her warmth, hoping it would come back instead of feeling it consistently? If the answer is yes, then you're living proof of this sign. Because love, when it's real, doesn't disappear and reappear like a passing storm. It stays, it grows, it remains steady. Anything less is a warning you can't afford to ignore. Sign number 6, she avoids defining the relationship. Let me ask you, have you ever been with a woman who made you feel everything in the moment? Yet every time you asked, what are we? She dodged the question. You share laughs, you share intimacy, you share secrets. But when it comes to putting a name on the relationship, suddenly she acts like you're asking for the moon. Think about it. You're sitting together one evening, maybe after a beautiful date. The mood is perfect. You look at her, heart racing, and you say softly, "So, where do you see this going?" For a second, her smile fades. She shifts uncomfortably. Then she laughs it off with something like, "Why do we need labels? Let's just enjoy the moment." On the surface, that sounds carefree, even romantic. But deep down, doesn't it sting a little? Because what you're really asking for isn't a label. You're asking for reassurance, for clarity, for commitment, and her refusal tells you everything you need to know. Now let's get honest. A woman who is serious about you, who sees you as her future, will want to claim you. She won't risk losing you by leaving things vague. But a woman who has multiple options? Vagueness is her best friend. The less she defines things, the more freedom she has to entertain other partners without guilt. Let me take you into a story you might recognize. Imagine you've been seeing her for months. You've met her friends, maybe even her family. Everything feels right until you realize she's never once called you her boyfriend. To them, you're just a friend. You notice how she avoids introducing you with any title, how she keeps your bond floating in a gray area. You try to brush it off, but later that night, lying in bed, the thought creeps in, why won't she commit to me? What's she hiding? And your mind spirals with possibilities. Be honest, have you ever been in that position? Waiting for her to give you the certainty your heart craves, but instead, she keeps you dangling on a thread of let's see where it goes. That uncertainty is not love, it's control. She gets the benefits of your time, your affection, your loyalty, while keeping the door open for others. Here's a truth you need to hear. Love doesn't fear definition. Real love embraces clarity. If she truly values you, she'll want the world to know. She'll call you hers without hesitation. But if she avoids defining the relationship again and again, you're not the only man in her story, you're just one chapter. So ask yourself, are you content being undefined? Or do you deserve to be someone's certainty, not their option? Because the way she avoids that conversation tells you more than her sweet words ever will. Sign number 7, her circle knows more than you do. Let me ask you, have you ever met her friends or family and felt like you were the odd one out? Like everyone in the room knew something about her that you didn't? Maybe they exchanged glances, hesitated when introducing you, or even slipped up and mentioned another guy's name you'd never heard before. Has that ever happened to you? Imagine this. She finally invites you to a gathering with her friends. You're excited, maybe even a little nervous, because this feels like a step forward. You walk in expecting smiles and warmth, but instead you notice something else: confusion. One friend asks, "So how long have you two been together?" Another quickly cuts in, changing the subject. Later, someone slips and says, "Oh, I thought she was seeing someone else." In that moment, your heart sinks. Suddenly, you're not just questioning her, you're questioning everything. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt like her friends didn't treat you like someone important in her world? Did they act like they weren't sure what role you played? Maybe they didn't ask you about your relationship, didn't make the effort to include you, or even seemed distant. That's not normal when you're the man she's serious about. If she truly sees you as her partner, her circle will reflect that. Here's another scenario. You're out with her family. Everyone's talking, laughing, but you notice subtle hints. Her sister accidentally says, "Oh, I thought you were with," and then quickly stops. Or her cousin avoids eye contact when you mention your plans with her. These little moments are easy to dismiss in the moment, but later, lying awake at night, they replay in your mind like echoes you can't silence. Because here's the reality. If you're her priority, her circle will know you, respect you, and treat you as such. But if they act like you're just passing through, chances are they know you're not the only one. Ask yourself, when you've been around her friends or family, did you feel celebrated? Or did you feel like a stranger in her world? Did you feel like her chosen man or just one of many? Because the way her circle treats you often reveals what she won't say out loud. And if they know more about her love life than you do, it's a painful sign that you might not be her only story. And you deserve to be someone's only story. So let's pause for a moment and reflect. Throughout this journey, we've walked through 7 signs that she may have multiple partners, her inconsistent availability, the hidden phone habits, the vague answers, the sudden emotional distance, the mysterious changes in behavior, the constant need for privacy, and finally, the way her circle knows more than you do. But here's the truth you need to hold close. These signs are not just about her. They're about you. They're about your peace of mind, your self-worth, and your vision of love. Because love should not feel like detective work. It should not feel like you're constantly guessing, doubting, or competing for her attention. Ask yourself this: are you holding on to someone who's making you feel small? uncertain or replaceable? Or do you believe deep down that you deserve a love where you're chosen fully, openly, and proudly? Too many men stay in relationships where their gut screams the truth, but their heart refuses to listen. They hope she'll change, or they convince themselves that maybe it's all in my head. But ignoring these signs only leads to more heartbreak down the road. If these 7 signs sound familiar, it's not about blaming her, it's about protecting you. Because you deserve more than being someone's option. You deserve to be the one, not one of many. And let me remind you of something important. Real love is not complicated. When someone truly values you, there is no confusion. There is no double life. There are no secrets. There's just clarity, honesty, and the deep peace of knowing you are enough for them. So don't fear the truth. Facing it will set you free. And walking away from what doesn't serve you creates space for the kind of love you truly deserve. The kind that doesn't leave you guessing. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.